B-A-T. It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast. On today's episode, we have part 2 of our deep dive into the creative process of the adventures of Ben and Travis and the WorryCoaster with illustrator Jacob Hennigan and special guest interviewer Cayron Mann. We have the lightning round questions. Of course, this episode is brought to you by The Adventures of Ben and Travis and the WorryCoaster, and now you can pre-order the sequel, The Adventures of Ben and Travis and the Joyrider, at benandtravis.com. It's also brought to you by magicmind.com/BAT20, and we'll get right to that conversation after these important messages. This episode of the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast is presented by Faulkner University. Faulkner University is a private Christian liberal arts university based in Montgomery, Alabama, with a mission to provide an education anchored by not only intellect, but also character and service. The Faulkner experience aims to educate the whole person. Every individual matters every day. We all want to become better versions of ourselves. No one wants to remain trapped where they are because of missed opportunities and unrealized dreams. At Faulkner University, we believe your dreams don't have an expiration date. We understand that you're looking for more than a degree. You want to find your niche and thrive in your career. Whether you're a high school senior just beginning your trek or an adult student looking for a better path, Faulkner is here to help guide your journey. Go to faulkner.edu to apply or get more info. That's faulkner.edu.
All right, here we go. If the book had a theme song, what would it be?
Just a good old boy.
Roller coaster.
Oh, sorry.
Mental wounds not healing, driving me insane.
Better be ready, man.
I'm going off the rails on a crazy train.
Oh, copyright. Just right in the face. No. Or Drake, whatever it is.
It wasn't good enough to be in the copyright.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Which was more difficult, writing the first sentence or writing the last sentence?
Probably would be the last sentence, because you really want that to hit. And you want the first one to go well too, but it's sort of the first line. But the thing about the how many months apart we were, and days and hours even. I mean, we called his mom and called my mom, and we had to do the math to get that exactly. But that's accurate. I think down to the minute or whatever. I think we were pretty close on getting our times right. And so we thought that was kind of cool. So that probably took a little bit of time as far as the hard part. But.
All right, I've got another rapid fire question for you. Who is your favorite children's book illustrator?
Probably Steve Kellogg. All of his books were great. When I was a kid, I would read every book of his that I could get my hands on. He was one of the first children's book illustrators where I would be in the Mars Hill Library, elementary library, and I would be able to recognize his books, not based on the name, but based on the way that he drew the illustrations. And it also helped that he illustrated some awesome books about Pecos Bill and Mike Fink, the riverboat pirate, and cool stuff like that was very, very exciting to me in elementary school.
Yeah.
So
any books that we would, it's not coming to me right now. It may to our audience, but is there something that we might recognize?
He had a couple books that he illustrated, and I'm going to get this wrong because I haven't read them since I was in first grade, but I think it was like a big Great Dane that would get into trouble and mess things up. And I think the Great Dane's name was Pinkerton or something silly like that, something fun.
Not Marmaduke, was it?
No, it wasn't Marmaduke.
That's another one. Okay.
It wasn't Marmaduke. Marmaduke's great. But there was that one where the dog would mess everything up, and he always just brilliantly drew everything. And I feel like there was another one where the kids went to a farm and a big anaconda got loose and swallowed a bunch of crazy stuff. And I can't call the name of that one.
Snake Farm.
One of those from Chaos to Clarity type stories.
Yes. But anything he ever drew was great. So
all right,
that definitely would be my answer.
Good deal.
This episode brought to you by Magic Mind, magicmind.com/BAT20. You can get up to 48% off your original subscription of Magic Mind. And Ben, I I love it. I drove over today from Fayetteville, and I hit up my Magic Mind as I got in the car and entertained the kids all the way over here with annoying whatever I could come up with, maybe Aladdin or whatever we talked about. But no, it's a great energy drink. I get no jitter, which is the cool part. There's no crash. And so I can do interviews like this all day long if we want to.
And I like the flip side of it with the sleep elixir that they have, and that's what it's called. But it's nice. I'll take it before I go to bed and sleep through the night, wake up pretty energized and ready to go. So even on the nights that I don't get a lot of sleep.
Favorite childhood snack growing up?
Ooh, that one's hard.
Whatever I could steal from Ben to make him mad. Like
Travis,
a kid, he never touched again.
Travis's favorite was like 3-hour-old cereal and milk. I mean, he'd come back in and he'd be like, I was like, you're disgusting.
That's true. There's starving kids in China. That works. That worked on me.
We can go outside and play for 3 hours and come back and you just keep eating his cereal.
Tepid cereal.
I mean, I've always loved popcorn and sour candy. Just about any kind of sour or like sweet tarts, Starburst, anything that's kind of like. I've never been a big chocolate person. I like the sour stuff.
Yeah.
As I told my mama one time when I was maybe about preschool age, if heaven doesn't have hot dogs, I don't want to go.
All right, Hank. All right, Hank. I'd say pepperonis. I love pepperonis. I'm kind of like Ben with the Skittles growing up, for sure.
When y'all were kids,
Potted meat.
what would have been? There you go. What's it made of?
Don't knock
Next
it.
question.
Who cares?
Don't
It's
knock
not the same thing hot dogs are made of.
That's right. So, when you were kids, what was your dream job?
I'm Batman.
Yeah.
At some point as a kid, I wanted to be an archaeologist.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go dig for dinosaur bones. I don't know why, but that was my thing.
And get
so,
paid.
yeah. I mean, I thought that'd be cool. Because probably Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah. That would have been a dream job.
Yeah.
Your dream job?
Pretty much what I'm doing now, except I would say I would get paid more for it.
Oddly enough, I'm kind of in the same boat.
Ouch, Jacob. I thought we
Coach
paid no.
teacher. And,
I wasn't a dig on y'all. I wasn't a dig on y'all.
No.
What's your favorite? I mean, we're asking kid questions here because that's what. I mean, this may be a kid's book, but it's really not. But I thought, well, we'll just ask y'all kind of some kid questions. But favorite animated movie?
oh man, I'm gonna go Aladdin. I mean, like Robin Williams.
Yeah.
You know that guy. The songs I can still sing them today. My sophomores got the rendition of Prince Ali, "Fabulous He Only a Bonbon" the other day, with all the sound effects and everything.
Right.
So Aladdin, and that and now that I think about it, that's probably another influence on why you want to do a kid's book, to be a cartoon character. But
that would be mine too. I liked all of the ones from our time period. I liked Beauty and the Beast. I liked Aladdin.
Yes, I am that old guy that's like, why do we need live action? How's this improving? How's this improving anything?
I'm not sure you can improve on the Aladdin that had Robin Williams in it. I mean, they tried, but it was okay, but it was not the original. So yeah. You got one?
Favorite animated movie?
Favorite animated movie would be the Pecos Bill segment from the Disney animated feature Make Mine Music. No, it wasn't Make Mine Music. It was Melody Time. Melody Time. The Pecos Bill segment. It had Roy Rogers and the Sons of the Pioneers, and then they sing about Pecos Bill's life. And when I was a kid, we wore that VHS tape out. Like the rest of the movie the rest of the movie plays. Rest of the movie plays perfectly fine, and then you get to the Pecos Bill part, and it gets all fuzzy and everything because I watched it so much. I can quote that whole song from memory. I love every single frame of that whole thing, to the point where when I was like maybe 3 or 4, I would introduce myself to people as Pecos Bill.
That's great.
And Mama would try to correct me and say, "No, you're Jacob," and I would say, "No, I am Pecos Bill."
I would say maybe before Aladdin, and to give a third one, would probably be the old Robin Hood, the illustrated, where they're the fox and all that kind of stuff. And that one would probably be like one of my favorite that I remember the most from being a kid. So being real little.
Yeah. If you had a magic power, what would it be?
Web slinging.
I want to. I guess it's the. Well, now I can't think of his name, but I just want to like imagine a place and be able to just
Nightcrawler.
go there.
Yeah,
And then when I'm done, I'm out. Now that sounds really cool, but my reasoning is when I want to go to a game, I just like to go to the game, see the game, and then zap, and I'm back home. Right?
Yeah.
Not the moon, not somewhere like that. I just don't want to have to drive. Wouldn't that be cool? Like that's really the only
what
reason.
It all comes down to.
That's what only reason I want to be president is because I just get flown in and I fly out. And I'm home. Everybody else is still driving home. But,
yeah.
I think either web slinging or flying. I mean, is obviously a pretty cool power because that would give you that opportunity just to kind of go where you want to go. But
yeah.
My magic power would be no longer having to sleep or eat, so I can spend more time drawing and meet deadlines.
Driven, man, he's driven.
Yeah, without all the details.
Yes.
Okay. This may be a tough one. I don't know. This may be an easy one. If your life were a children's book, what would the title be? If your life were a children's book, what would the title be? And the WorryCoaster is already taken.
Okay.
The Adventures of Ben and Travis.
Yeah. Better to be thought a fool than to open your mouth and move all doubt. Is that too long of a title? Is that too long of a title? That's been a learning process since I was a kid. Still working on it.
Man.
That's good advice. It really
I don't know. I hope Jacob Hennigan's drawing it, though. I'll say that.
I'd say the same thing. Yeah.
I don't know. The Adventures of Ben and Travis and his patience, probably. And Ben's patience. The patience of Ben.
Oh, man, I don't know.
The patience of Ben.
Yeah, that would be the Travis Greasy story.
Is it copyright infringement to call my family the Tribe of Benjamin? We could just do a whole storyline on the Tribe of Benjamin.
You take that up with the Lord.
Yeah, I don't think he ever.
Yeah.
I don't think he copyrighted it.
Yeah.
We'll check Zondervan.
Yeah, that might be the key.
Well, Jacob, this one might be kind of for you. Are you a pencil and paper kind of guy or digital when it comes to illustrating?
I used to be only pencil and paper, and I would look down upon those that used any type of modern equipment when drawing, and I would say, "You foolish mortals! Why can you not be like me? I who craft, carving things out with my bare hands, flesh and blood, will always prevail against these technological advancements." But alas,
yes.
Within the last year, I caved in and bought an iPad. And so now my process is I do my pencils digitally on the iPad, because that's a lot easier to quote unquote erase things or undo things. Or I say like, oh, I made that hand a little too big. Let me just circle that and I can shrink it. And I don't have to spend another 5 minutes erasing and then drawing a whole new hand. And then I print that out and do good old pen and ink on paper and ink that way. So all of my black and white, my final lines, and the gray tones, my ink washes, are all figured out on the page, a physical piece of paper.
Okay.
And then I scan this in. This is a little convoluted. I scan that back in, and then it goes back to digital to color, because I am not very good at coloring, or at least I'm not good at coloring things right on the first try. Yeah. And so it's a lot of trial and error, and I have to have something digital so that I can, like I said with the pencils, completely erase something and start over, or grab it and tweak it, or change it, or do something to make the colors work better. And so I need something digital to do that, to get that looking good.
That is fascinating. I mean, it really is. It's fascinating, the process that you just sort of put it all into one little capsule for us. But we know that it's a huge undertaking. But when you talk about it, it almost sounds like it's not that hard.
Yeah, I mean,
but we know that it is.
Yeah, it's so smooth.
When you talk
like,
about it, yeah.
Oh, it just must just come out of his fingertips, you know.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah. If you could illustrate any classic children's book, which one would it be?
Well, that's the problem. Is if I say, "Oh, the Cat in the Hat," then people are going to be like, "Oh, does he think he's better than Dr. Seuss?" You know, because if I did the Cat in the Hat
Trick question,
if I did Green Eggs and Ham, it definitely wouldn't be the same at all. You know, all the magic that Dr. Seuss had, I have a different kind of magic. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So if I had to illustrate any kid's book,
So that is sort of a challenging question.
that
for
is a
you.
challenging question. These are supposed to be rapid fire.
They are, aren't they?
machine gun,
Yeah,
bazooka, rack.
That's right.
I don't know. I would probably do like some old fairy tales that have been done and redone so many times, and put my own spin on them. Let's
Like
say
Van Helsing.
Yeah, that's my favorite fairy tale.
That's it. Yeah.
Vampire slayers and all that. No, I would probably do some old mother hen stuff or some old folklore or something like that, and put a Jacob Hennigan spin on it, maybe.
Yeah. If your illustrations could come to life, is there a character that you would really like to meet?
I want to meet the guy that looks like you but rides the chicken or whatever.
He doesn't look like me. He does not look like me. He has the coolest possible hair I could possibly draw, which also I already happen to have the coolest possible hairstyle a person could possess. So he doesn't look like me. We just have similar hair.
That's all it is, yeah.
But Ben is referring to a character that I describe to people as a country fried Conan the Barbarian.
Yes.
And so he's kind of like a redneck in this barbarian world, and he fights bad guys and slays evil and all that type of stuff. But also he has a mullet, and instead of riding a horse, he rides a ginormous rooster named Irvin.
It's so good.
So that's as good an answer as any. Is one of my characters I'd like to meet.
That you'd like to meet. Yeah. And what's his name?
His name is Dwayne. Dwayne the Barbarian, which is a reference to one of the guitar players from the band Molly Hatchet.
Oh, okay.
But
Dwayne and his trusty steed.
His trusty steed.
Okay. Where did you see God throughout this entire process? I mean, this has been, when you think about it, a year-long plus process. It seems like there's been some Facebook memories that came up that, hey, we're working on this project, and it's called a WorryCoaster, you know. So I was just curious.
Well, I'd say one of the ways that we've seen him is through his people, because we could not have written, and really, I mean, this is an expensive process. It just is. And anybody that's ever done books, ordered books, tried to get into that knows you're not making really a whole lot of money off of books. They're just, a lot of it is to get something out there and to get a message out there. And so there's been several families, several people who have just gone above and beyond, sent donations to us to make sure that it's worked. And I think that's a God thing. And it was great to hear from them when they got their copy about how much they thought it was fantastic, and that they wanted to order them for their Bible class at church, and that they were really inspired by it. And we're like, you know, that was what we wanted. And I know you said it's not always about the compliments, but it was huge to know that what we did hopefully is going to make a difference for people. And we have that little piece in the back that, you know, it talks to parents of kids or teenagers or even to themselves about some of the things that you can do if you've got, anxiety in your life. And I've even had some people comment about, thank you for putting that section in there, because that was really helpful. So I think that's where I've seen God at work, is in the people helping support it. So
yeah,
I'll take it the step. I mean, there were times where we were like, oh man, like here's a deadline that we gotta meet, you know, and a couple of times like, oh, I hope we get there. And, you know, you're always like, there's the refund button, you know, like maybe hopefully this isn't going to, and somebody steps up and you get something in the mail and it's like, yeah, I didn't even pray about that. I should have, right? But like, this is a project that's going to happen, you know, and you get to that point. I guess when that light comes on, it's like, this is going to actually happen, right? You know, when you pull up in Dallas and go to the UPS store, you're like, the box is here, you know. Then you feel kind of bad because Jacob's not there. You're like, video it, take him a picture and send it to him. But, just any of the Ben and Travis stuff, the people I get to hang out with, those are the engine. God gives the gas, he provides the engine, but seeing and getting to work with good people, and just to see the talent that God's people have, it's just tremendous. And I guess that comment, like I said, we got 2 messages in the last week. The one was, this is high quality, and like, this is what it takes. We need more stuff like this to combat some of the stuff that's not great out there. It's high quality, but it's not really good messaging, and to have something that hits both. And then we got a message that, hey, I cannot wait to get this use the things that I'm given in the back with the kids, and also have them read the book. I think it's going to benefit them. I've got this many kids at home, and they all struggle with some form of this, and it's going to help them. So that's really it. And that's really everything we do. When we goof off at CYC in a few weeks, and the pizza man gets up there and sings a song, it's to help people put a smile on their face and give them a little hope for the future. I'll kick it over to Jake. Have you seen the Lord working?
I definitely have. Just the most talking I've done to people so far about the book has been when we were trying to generate interest for pre-orders. And even before we had a book that we could show people, trying to generate interest, I've had people come up to me at the Ben and Travis booth and say, I'm like, they would be older. They would say, I'm not the target demographic for this book. I'm too old for this book. But I have struggled with anxiety my whole entire life, and I have had no idea how to deal with it, had no idea which way to turn, and I am so glad that y'all are making something like this for kids, because when I was a kid, I wanted something like this so bad. Even if I didn't know or could put words to it, I needed something like this. And loved ones that I have that I've showed the book to, who personally struggle with anxiety, seem to really, really strike a chord with them, and really, really help put words to their journey, help give them closure in a way, help them know that they are not alone. And so that's definitely been a great blessing for me personally, and also a great motivation to get this book done and have it be high quality and get it into people's hands and help them there.
Yeah. And closure allows for doors that maybe couldn't be opened. It allows them to open finally when people can have closure. I appreciate getting to talk with y'all. You had one more thing?
I was just going to say, I've read a lot of books, as I mentioned before, to kids at school, and a lot of them that their messages and the way that they tell the stories are just phenomenal. And I'm not just saying this to, just to throw empty compliment, but none of them are on the art level that these are. And I love the art. I love the stories, but when I opened this up and I looked at it the first time, I was like, okay, this is like way better than the story. I mean, like he just really took it to another level. And so I think people see that, and I love the fact that I can go, and I've said it every time anybody says the art in this is great, I go, that kid grew up in our church. That kid,
exactly,
that kid's from the church, and people, they gravitate towards that a lot, to know, wow, we have somebody in our family that did that. And I think that that's huge. So
it is.
Jacob Hennigan, everybody.
Yeah.
Making me blush.
Yeah, that's right. That's good.
Cayron, do you have a favorite page? I don't want to put you on the spot.
Well, I will say that I did find it really interesting that you were giving the advice.
Yes. Me too.
There was another.
That won't be going forward. There will be a lot of Ben Hayes showing up for the.
I will say that when it got into the purple pages and, following the route, and what I really loved was the cadence that started happening with the rhyming pattern. And so much so that I went back and I had to do it again. I had to read it again to get that pattern going, to get that meter going, to get that rhythm going. And then I loved that, because it went from narrative and then it went into poetry, and you had me right there.
Well, we were really excited.
I'm not a rapper like that. And,
we were excited.
Yes, you are. Obviously.
That was one thing I was really excited about too, because I wanted to have that element in it, but it was really hard to tell the story the whole way through rhyming. So that was one of the things that kind of both the artwork and the is we thought, okay, when we go into the imaginary world, that's when we get the rhyming part.
That's when it started happening.
And that's going to
natural progression.
Yeah, yeah. And so, and then when it comes back out of it, and I've seen that in some books that I've read before, where there's certain times they're rhyming and certain times they're not.
Yes.
And I thought that would be a perfect fit for it. And Jacob helped out with that rhyme too, because there was a few places that might not have been as smooth, and Jacob threw some ideas in there, and Travis, and I think it was just it worked out really, really well. I loved that part of it as well. So,
well, thank you guys.
Thank you for coming on here with us.
There's a couple of things in there, like the front. Like I think we need some wrapping paper. That is in the middle here.
Like
inside front cover.
We need the Ben and Travis wrapping paper for
yes.
gifts, and then like you were mentioning, I love the roller coaster, and I know that Jacob took a lot of like detail in getting it where, and I think we've mentioned it in the podcast before, where you can put those end to end, and you can actually connect.
I'm going to have that picture at some point. Yeah. Thank you guys for all that you do, and we appreciate you guys for listening. We appreciate you guys for supporting us through the book and all the other weird, crazy projects that we throw out. And we're looking forward to maybe another one soon.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.